Justin, VergeIO, who we've spoken about previously on the rundown, just introduced what they call IOfortify, which is a ransomware defense feature that offers attack detection and rapid recovery within seconds. It's integrated into the VergeIO hyperconverged platform, and it monitors the deduplication to detect ransomware, which is something I think that we've heard from some other companies, including here this week. What do you think of this type of product, and what do you think of the VergeIO approach?
But it's not unique to VergeIO, which is both a good thing and not so good. There's a few other companies that do something similar. Basically, what you have is when ransomware happens, it's encrypting the data. So when you encrypt things, it becomes much more randomized, which means it's harder to dedupe. That means that if you've got dedupe in your storage infrastructure, you can detect that, oh, this data is actually harder to dedupe now. So that means that there's probably something weird going on. And that's a pretty high confidence signal that we should do something about it. The thing is, ransomware isn't the only thing that can make your dedupe ratios change. So it's not guaranteed that it definitely is ransomware. So you don't want it to auto recover. You want it to then trigger further action and say, okay, is this ransomware or not? We should check it out. Generally, the approach from the vendors is that when we see a high quality signal that we think could be ransomware, it turns on, like immediately take a snapshot so that you have a recovery point. And ideally, if you've got, depending on how you do it, if they have continuous data protection, they'll flag, okay, we noticed this happen, it started happening at this point, we'll flag the start point so that you've got an easy place to come and find the recovery. We heard some things from Pure yesterday where they're basically doing some similar features. There's a whole bunch of other vendors who do this. It's useful. The thing is that being able to recover quickly from ransomware is great if you get hit. You want to try not to get hit though, and it's also not the only way that data can get damaged. And we covered that in the Gigagram sonar report, which is there's a whole bunch of other things that can happen to your data, and one of them, even with ransomware, is I can ransom you without encrypting the data. I can take a copy, and then I can ransom you. I can say, well, if you don't give me money, I will release the data, and then the regulators will know about it, or your customers will know about it. And so you want to avoid that kind of public damage. You can't protect that with snapshots. So this sort of thing is useful for one specific use case. Great, but you have to look broader than that. You can't just say, oh, we have this feature function and now the problem is solved.